What is going on, FA Nation? Jon Impemba here with James Grande. Welcome into the FantasyAlarm MLB DFS Playbook Preview Show. We are looking at the Friday DraftKings main slate. 12 games on tap for us here. Weather pending, of course. We have a couple of games with the rain symbols. The Midwest continues to potentially have some weather issues. We had the Wednesday game where the Royals and Rockies game got Royals and Rockies. Is that what it was? We got postponed. And then we had the Twins White Sox game canceled after 8 innings on the
seven.
What? 7 innings.
Seven.
So rain in the forecast again in Cleveland for that Boston matchup. Milwaukee, St. Louis, potentially some rain. I did check out the Cincinnati Colorado game. That rain is expected to be more in the earlier part of the day. So unless the weather systems shift. That Coors Field matchup should be okay for this slate. But of course, we go live at 5 p.m. Eastern time. We'll have all of the latest weather updates for you guys during that program. Grande, 12 games, big slate, especially when it includes Coors. You kind of have to make some decisions on where you want to go. This slate also has Yamamoto versus Skeens. We have 3 pitchers over $10,000 on this main slate. So picking and choosing where you want to build your lineups around today, might be a bit difficult getting elite pitching plus Coors all combined together.
Happy Friday.
Happy Friday.
Yeah, could be difficult. Might not be. It is an expensive looking Cincinnati Reds team. We'll see. But yeah, it looks like a good slate overall. 12 games, lots of star power, lots of great pitching, ready to get into things.
Sure. As we mentioned, Yamamoto, Gilbert, and Skeens all up over $10,000. Yamamoto, you've just hit the nail on the head every slate. Basically, like, I will almost pay infinite dollars to roster this man. He has been fantastic, hasn't allowed an earned run in 3 straight starts. 10 strikeouts in 2 of the last 4, 9 Ks against Chicago, 30 plus fantasy points in back-to-back outings here. Got the win and both of those. And maybe the win equity could be the lowest he's had only due to the pitcher that's on the other side of him. But I would still bet money on the Dodgers winning this game ultimately. 10-5, again, just not a problem. But how many people do you think go down to Logan Gilbert instead at home against Miami for a couple of $100 cheaper?
I think you probably get a lot of ownership on both of them. They probably split most of the ownership up there because I think, we've just seen what Logan Gilbert has done repeatedly at home throughout his entire career. We've seen the innings, we've seen the fantasy points, we've seen basically everything just as consistent as any pitcher in baseball. But you mentioned it when it comes to Yamamoto, like, he's been better than Logan Gilbert.
Oh, he's been the best pitcher in baseball, pretty much.
Yeah, I mean, like, you can spend or you can save the money to Gilbert. Gilbert, although he's been great, he also hasn't had the upside that Yamamoto has flashed thus far, right? So, like, I know you're paying more, but sometimes you're paying more for a reason. You're paying for a guy that's gone 30 plus fantasy points in back-to-back starts, something that Logan Gilbert hasn't done yet. Not that Logan Gilbert's not going to, but we haven't gotten that yet. So I still lean Yamamoto. I think, in tournaments, you might just lean the lower owned of the two if you're looking. And then if you really want to dig deep in tournaments, Paul Skeens, this would probably be the lowest owned Paul Skeens will be for most of this year, if not the entire year. No, like against the Dodgers, against Yamamoto on the flip side, like,
yeah, I would agree with you. And I mean, also, he's obviously been great, for what his, strikeout upside has been per start. But, only 2 games over 20 fantasy points for Paul Skeens this year. So, the upside is certainly with the other 2. And then if you want to just get down into the next range, Michael King has had some really good starts. Obviously, we have Evaldi in that big pitcher's park against San Francisco. Chris Sale and Corbin Burns not even, or Zach Allen rather, going up against one another. Sale, ugly start to his season with an ERA over 6 and $9,000. Shane Baz been a tough matchup against the Padres here. So, kind of some like interesting mid-tier options, but bigger names. I think you and I like Lopez and Wesneski probably the best of that group.
I think Wesneski is probably my favorite of the whole tier after. I mean, I like your Michael King shout. Evaldi pitching in a great ballpark. We know Chris Sale is eventually going to figure it out. Shane Baz has been great. Wesneski's been great and has a great matchup. There's been strikeout equity. There's been really limited production. This was a guy who might have, and our own Keith Eister, who's a Cubs fan, said probably shouldn't have given up on Wesneski, but like obviously we got Kyle Tucker, so it is what it is. But like, could we have not included someone else? Like, this has been a talented pitcher, and he's looked really good. Even the peripheral numbers look even better than what the 3.91 ERA suggests. So over a strikeout per inning, and he gets the Royals, who before facing Rockies pitching,
I was gonna say,
I mean, literally couldn't score a run. So probably my favorite pitcher in this tier is Hayden Wesneski. Salute to Pablo. We love Pablo here. It was a hamstring, so it wasn't like it's an arm. We're not worrying about like fatigue. It's a hamstring, spent the minimum, I think right at the minimum went on a rehab start. So like should be close to full, if not full for Pablo here. So I'm also good with him at 85. I would say the one thing you worry about with Pablo in this specific matchup is the home run, because the Angels hit a lot and Pablo had a home run problem for half the year last year. I mean, had a home run problem last year, big fly ball guy. So that's obviously a little bit concerning.
We kind of went a little bit into the Andrew Abbott numbers. They look fairly good. He's had two of the best matchups on the board so far against left-handed pitching in Pittsburgh and Baltimore, but now he has Colorado. The only thing that would go against him in the start is the fact that it's in Coors Field. $8,600, no one's going to pitch him, but he's looked fantastic. And like I said, if you go to Fangraphs and check out the peripheral numbers for him, like it kind of bears out that he's pitching as well as the numbers suggest. Would you be wary of pitching Abbott in this spot?
Probably. Yeah. I'm okay with it. I don't love $8,600 for Andrew. I know the numbers look good, and I know the Rockies are not good.
Is this like a Festa thing for you almost?
It's a price thing. At least Andrew Abbott has pitched into the sixth and has like a crazy high ceiling. At least we've gotten that. So maybe I shouldn't be. Maybe I should be a little more bullish on Abbott.
Rockies have a 31% strikeout rate versus lefties.
Yeah, I know. I nothing. I mean, it's all gonna look terrible. Like you don't need. Like, yeah, it's all terrible.
Their numbers at home obviously are always better, right? Because
the
ballpark helps them so much. But even that's still a 26% strikeout rate, but like a 320 WOBA versus a 260 WOBA, like everything's just a little better in their home ballpark there. But just kind of throwing it out because I imagine they'll be favorites and no one's going to play Andrew Abbott in court, especially kind of given the other guys in that range. But I'm also in agreement with you on Wesneski. I really like him there. You go down a little bit further. Picking on the White Sox have been a popular play for us this year. Luis Severino, 8 innings, 1 earned, only 1 strikeout though against Milwaukee, managed to 20 fantasy points. He's had 3 games of 6 strikeouts, so we know he's capable of at least striking guys out here. Yes, it is in the Sutter Health Park, so that is sometimes a concern, but we do like to pitch against the White Sox here. So what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I think this one is another one like bordering. I like it, but I don't like the ballpark. I like the matchup, but I don't like the ballpark. I'm good with it. The White Sox have put up a little bit of a fight. They outright beat Chris Paddock on Thursday again.
Yeah.
Not that there was much resistance that they couldn't score on the other side. So it wasn't like overly competitive, but I'm okay with it. I mean,
Okay.
at the end of the day, like Wisniewski's $200 more, so I'd probably just go there and feel better about it. But the White Sox are obviously going to be a team we continue to pick on.
I agree. Working our way down this list here. Matthew Liberatore has looked really good. This is another guy with like peripheral numbers that suggest the real deal. He faced the Mets team, 2 earned on the road, 6 strikeouts, 100 pitches. Got the loss. They'll give you 18 fantasy points here. And he's a lefty going up against the Brewers. And we've kind of talked about this, what feels like a lot this year. That lineup, they just have a ton of lefties and like not any really good righties. They got a few of them. Chourio, obviously William Contreras, Rhys Hoskins is coming alive a little bit, but overall in the year, still an 097 ISO, a 280 WOBA, a 230 batting average for Milwaukee. Do we like Liberatore here?
Yeah, I mean, former like top pick, like first round draft pick who was a starter, then a reliever, then a starter. And they've kind of like effed around with his like whole thing, right? Like,
they've admitted it. They're like, you know what? Like, we are going into this year. The general manager came out, was like, he is going to be a starter and a starter only this year. We're going to kind of let this kid, sink or swim on it. And so far, he is swimming well. So I'm definitely a fan of this spot. If you're again looking to, save some cash, because of this group, I don't think we'd pitch another pitcher, honestly. Verlander, Lugo versus Houston. Houston's offense starting to come around. You're not going to pitch Berrios, Lively, Houck. That Cleveland-Boston game may not even play. I just pulled up the weather for Cleveland. It's basically isolated thunderstorms the entire night. So I don't know if this game even plays. There's no rain the next day on Saturday. So maybe they pull a doubleheader on a Saturday or Sunday slate. But, given this is the first game of that series and the rain is just the whole night, they may not even get this Boston-Cleveland game in.
That's tough. Do you have Fangraphs pulled up?
Yep.
If I open it right now, I'm telling you that you will literally see my computer blow up.
Yeah.
What do the Houston numbers look like against righties? Are they as bad as they've been? Because I don't hate Seth Lugo at 7,200. I know Houston's been better lately, especially since they swapped Jordan to 2 and moved Paredes back, and Christian Walker's actually been serviceable.
So I'll just give you the last 2 weeks, right? Because again, now we're super small sample size. It is what it is, but they were very bad to begin the year, and we kind of called that out too early. It's like, wow, they have like a 30% strikeout rate almost against righties. Like, this isn't the lineup we're used to seeing. But the last couple of weeks, they, especially against the Blue Jays, that offense came alive. So the last 14 days, those 330 plate appearances, only an 18.5% strikeout rate, 276 batting average, a 150 ISO, a 330 WOBA against right-handed pitching. So comparatively, just like overall numbers for them this year, it's a 22% strikeout rate, a 239, a 111, and a 296 WOBA just on the year. So again, that first half of the season, which is crazy to say because we're a month into it, but basically the first 3 weeks of the year they were very bad, and then the last couple of weeks of the season they've been better. So I guess take that sample size and put it into consideration, because I do agree with you. Like, we consider Lugo to be a pretty good pitcher.
He's an all-star. He was literally an all-star last year.
Yeah. I mean, he's been knocked around though. I mean,
just
the game logs. I think I would rather take my chances with Liberatore in St. Louis. Kansas City obviously can be a hitter's park if the weather's right, but I'm not 390 ERA for Lugo. The K per 9's down to 6.3, which is pretty gross for him.
The strikeouts suck. The home runs, though, like, he gave up 4 home runs to the Yankees, and he's basically been like pretty good outside of that.
Ground ball rate's only 38% this year. He's basically never been lower than 44 as a starter. So he's given up more fly balls. 16% home run to fly ball rate obviously lends to that.
Yeah.
Expected ERA is 4.5, so it's higher than his current ERA. xFIP's 4.6, FIP's 5.40, so not great trending numbers there for Mr. Lugo.
I mean, I don't disagree. I was more so like you were like, is there any other pitchers? And I just like the price more than anything else because you're not wrong. I was even trying to just talk myself into some Cal Quantrill, but he's been just against the ballpark, but he has been absolutely awful.
He doesn't deserve probably to be on a rotation, an 80 ERA and a 2 WHIP. But there's a lot of guys in the league that were kind of scratching their heads, being like, "Why is this guy on a staff?"
Yeah.
The Orioles have a Morton and
Oh, dude.
what's his face there?
Sagano.
Sagano. They both got like 10 ERAs.
10 ERAs. Yep.
The Pirates tonight are throwing out Mlodzinski or whatever his last name, however you pronounce that.
Yep.
Mlodzinski. And his ERA is up over 7. So,
I mean, that's been Patrick Corbin for 4 straight years, and he still has a job. So
that's true. All right, so that's kind of the pitching range for me. Again, I think Liberatore is the cheapest I'd go. Like Severino, Wisniewski, Lopez, and Abbott. I think the AK tier has some life to it. And then spending up, it's Yamamoto or Gilbert for me. And like you said, if you want to be just really contrarian, this is another spot where like no one's going to play Skeens, but no one's going to play Dodgers either. Like they're just not going to go in that direction there. Anything else you want to kind of highlight?
No.
Okay. Catcher, again, a position we generally look for the value in. Winans played 2 games over the last couple, and he's had this output. 6 of 7 came against Jorge Mateo throwing the baseball late in that game, but then even against Miami, 3 for 4 with a homer and 2 RBI there. So if you get Austin Winans over Trevino or wins over Trevino, you'd play that against Kyle Freeland.
You'd probably play either of them because Trevino's also hitting 300 this year. He's a little more expensive, but I think both Reds catchers will carry a lot of ownership.
Yeah, I would
agree. Trevino's been really good throughout his career against lefties. So like whoever is in the lineup, if they might go double catcher, 1 DH, like it wouldn't be overly surprising either.
Sure. Looking down in the mid range, you've been dead right on the Salvi Perez. Had a breakout game today. We like Wisniewski, obviously, but
two breakout games today.
Yeah, 2 breakout games, but $3,900 for him is far too cheap. As Tyler Anderson gives up a homer to something called Matt Gorski. Don't know what that is, but anyways, back to the main slate we're looking at right now. Salvi just for talent, like that's too cheap of a price tag for him.
Yeah, dude, I said it to you for like multiple days. I think I said on yesterday's show, he was statistically the most unlucky player in the league in terms of his expected batting average, slugging, and WOBA were the most far away from his actual numbers, which just says, I'm getting unlucky. Please, baseball gods, let me find grass, right?
Yeah.
And what do you know? The Rockies pitching solved him. They helped. 4 extra base hits, 4 RBIs, and 3 runs scored in a 2-game span. 3,900 is far too cheap, and he has great eligibility. So like you could play him at catcher or you play him at first. I don't love the spot, but I am fully acknowledging how unlucky he's been.
Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, Chris Sale's an awful. I don't know what's real and not real there, but Gabe Moreno obviously something to potentially look at. Cuero's been really good, $3,100 against Severino in that ballpark.
Jeffers at 36, another unlucky guy who's coming around.
If Carantini's in the lineup at 28, you can go there.
Stallings 3K in Coors. I mean, it's hard to
go, if they go him and Goodman or either or, right? Like you play him. So
definitely good. I mean, definitely Goodman. He homered on, I think Thursday as well. Yeah, the first game he homered. And he played both days on Thursday, so it makes you wonder if he'd get a day off or if they would just simply, we'll see what they do with him. But all 4 catchers in that game are solid.
I agree. All right, we'll figure out what the ownership is going to be and who's in or out of the lineup at the catcher position when we go live at 5:00.
Augustin, we got to mention Augustin Ramirez. I know Logan Gilbert's pitching, but Augustin.
Oh yeah, right down here. Yeah.
Like 100%. If you're not, I know I'm completely aware how good Logan Gilbert is and the ballpark, but this is their top catching prospect who is just going to force his way into the lineup, right? I mean, he's just going to play. They're going to play this kid.
I agree. No, I agree. $2,500, the way he's hitting right now, you got to play him. And we're okay with even taking the punt at that spot too. So, good shout on there. Anything else?
No.
Okay. First base, then we go. Obviously, it's a large slate, so there'll be plenty of options. You'll obviously have the Athletics. Soderstrom's 52. Ben Rice. Pavin Smith. Well, Pavin Smith's lefty, but Vladdy versus Carrasco, Rice versus Berrios, both looking pretty good. If that Cleveland game was the play, Manzardo, a lot of power from the left side against Tanner Houck, certainly a bit appealing there. Where's our guy? Kurtz is down still $3,500. So we'll get to him in a moment. Thoughts on the top tier?
Thoughts on the top tier. Obviously, Shohei, Freddie are tournament plays. Can say the same thing about I don't think I'd play either Arizona guy. I mean, just tough spot for Pavin doesn't really play against lefties. They'll probably play Naylor and they'll probably DH Grishik or whatever Grishik plays.
Yeah.
Grishik will play over Pavin regardless. I think Soderstrom looks great. Home run incoming in that one. Vladdy looks great. This is going to be a series that Vladdy just absolutely breaks out in when he has to face Cookie freaking Carrasco. Please, guys, please get healthy. Luis Gil, please get healthy. I can't take it anymore. Olsen looks good. Ben Rice looks great. Ben Rice has the highest expected everything in baseball. Literally number 1, 2, 3 in every category. So, yeah, I mean, everyone, there's a lot to like. Manzardo, you mentioned if that game plays. There's a lot to like Manzardo and up.
Yeah, agreed with you. You go to the mid-range. Again, you do have cores here. I know Spencer Steer's been really bad.
He's been better. I
was going to say, I know he's been bad, but he has been a little bit better. 4K, he's getting $1,000 bump because of the cores bump here, but him and Candelario at 41, $4,000, two guys that historically have hit lefties well. I mean, I'm very curious what the Cincinnati ownership is going to look like on this slate here, because those guys are actually pretty affordable. Now they hit at the bottom of the Cincy lineup, so second half, I guess. I think Candelario hits sixth, so something I guess to consider for that spot. And then again, Kurtz is $3,500. Casas is coming alive a little bit, I guess, if that game plays. $3,300.
Yep. Casas has been good.
Yeah. What do you think here?
I don't hate Hoskins, 37. Kurtz, obviously. Christian Walker, the power looks to be #back. Mervis, power never left, always there. And again, terrible ballpark, but you mentioned Casas. Lennon Sosa homered off Chris Paddock. You want to play Lennon Sosa?
I know.
Wilson Contreras, we talked about it a couple times. Wilson Contreras has definitely hit a pretty good stride in his season after opening the season as if he was not in his actual body. Like Space Jam aliens in his body.
And he was hitting 400 during spring and then regular season starts and just...
Which could lead you to believe Space Jam aliens were literally in his body.
Or just facing consistent major league pitching and not minor league pitching.
Also a possibility, yes. but he's facing consistent major league pitching right now, and he's definitely been better.
Yeah,
So I'd be okay going there as well.
agreed.
I don't think.
I mean,
I mean,
Burleson's 27.
Burleson, yeah. Vaughn. I
Um,
mean, look,
dude, Rowdy Tellez had that homer run against
yeah,
Toronto.
yep,
If he's in the lineup here against Quantrill,
it's true, absolutely true.
we'd take a look there. But that's obviously I think as low as we'd go. Second base position. Minnesota is on this slate. Julian's down to $2,800. Keyshaw up to $3,500. Again, I might just continue to play Luke Keyshaw. I mean, it's not like Ken Hendricks is a scary proposition here. I know it's a larger slate and there are other top tier options, but I mean, this dude gets on, and he just steals, and like he's a great hitter. So
Ken Hendricks, huh?
what did I call him? I didn't call him Ken Hendricks. I said Hendricks.
Ken. You said
I
Ken
said
Hendricks.
I don't think I said Ken, but if I said Ken, I meant to say Kyle. So.
All right, Mark. That was paying homage.
Yeah, I guess so. I think I
leave a comment in the comment section.
I don't know.
Did John say
Ken
Hendricks
might have been trying to say a different word, but
that's funny.
Either way, Luke Keyshaw $3,500 is probably just again my plug and play, even though there is cores, on this slate.
Yeah. No, I mean I don't disagree. We got deprived of what could have been Luke Keyshaw's final at bat in what was
in the game they were down. He would have absolutely tried to steal once he got on first. So
yeah, yep. Once he got on first, because that's the key. Because he would have absolutely gotten on first. He would have
absolutely got on first by way of walk, dude. Guy comes up, got 5 walks in 4 games. Everything is great about this dude, and he's still $3,500. So
and he's still $3,500. Yeah, man. It's just plug and play. Like, there's obviously other things you would play. Like, I'd play Bregman because Ben Lively's not good. So
no reason to give him second base eligibility. He hasn't played hasn't fielded the position once since joining the Red Sox. They just said he was going to play second when they signed him, and then they have never done that, and yet he has second base eligibility. So
and he has second base eligibility. Yeah, I mean it doesn't make sense, but I would love to play Bregman. Jazz, short porch in right field. Like, all he does is hit home runs and steal bases. It's all you really need in fantasy.
Sure.
Christian Campbell. Ben Lively is another one of those like really bad lucky pitchers. So
Dylan Moore.
Let off on the
keep running that one out there.
Yep.
And then, like I said, you go to Luke Keyshaw at 35. You've kind of shouted out Julian a few times. He's even cheaper than he's been now, and we know lefties the ones that give Ken Hendricks a problem. So,
you said Kyle, dude. Now you said Kyle, dude.
Yeah. That obviously give Kyle Hendricks some issues. So, no, I mean, if you were in on paying more money for Julian before, you should be in on paying less money for Julian now. So,
yes, agreed.
Yeah, so that's
and he'll be significantly lower owned than Keyshaw.
Dude, Keyshaw's been like, well, again, smaller slates, but he's been like 35% basically since everybody caught on that he's a good player. So
yeah, we gotta do something about this eligibility. We're gonna give Alex Bregman second base eligibility, and you're like allowing people to play whoever they want for Boston. Why can't we do that for like all these teams, right? Like,
Keyshawn's only been a DH because he can't play the field. So like,
I know. So
give him an outfield eligibility, right? Like, if you're only a DH,
we do it with Shohei. We do a Shohei, right? First base outfield. Like, it's just
shorter got outfield eligibility. Like, just give him outfield. Why not? All right, third base position as we go. My computer bugging out a little bit there. I would love to play Ramirez against Tanner Houck. Again, I don't know if this game is going to play with the rain, but I don't think Tanner Houck stands a chance in this matchup against Jose Ramirez. yeah, Bregman out of Fenway is a little scary. I know you mentioned you liked him at second base, but obviously the numbers are just better for him at home. Chapman homered, first home run this year off a pitch 100 miles an hour or greater
I saw that.
for Matt
It
Chapman
was a
today.
sinker. It was a sinker too, which is
Wow.
crazy.
Yeah, crazy. Again, you go back to Candelario. No, I mean, honestly, this dude's gonna be 40%.
Yeah.
$3,900, righty versus lefty. Everybody saw him hit the 117-mile-an-hour exit velo homer the other day. He's in Coors. He's hitting like, I think he hit fifth the other day with the lefty on the mound. I want to say, or hit or fifth or sixth. So, I mean, listen, the steroids thing obviously is a dark cloud hanging over Novi Marte. But before the steroids thing, he was like a top 20 prospect in baseball. So,
who stunk, and then he stunk when he got back originally. Yes. So that I don't like. It is what it is with the whole steroid thing, but he just wasn't good post return. Now he's been fine, but also, like we've talked about a couple times, his stats are largely based on one game that they scored 24 runs in and he hit a home run off a position player, right? Yeah. So like, yep. I don't disagree that he's a good play. I don't disagree that he's going to be high owned. There is context that matters in this specific case, like Wins, right? Like Austin Wins, similar to Marte, hit a home run off a position player and his stats like, whoa, his stats look great. It's like, well, sure, they count all the same. And if like that situation
did homer today or
right.
or and then again nobody homered a couple of days ago. So maybe that game, maybe the soft pitch softball game they played in,
sure.
Set him on the right
spark
path.
Something. Yeah.
But the ownership wise is going to be all over Marte here at $3,900.
Right.
I mean, especially when you're trying to get Yamamoto in your lineup, like you're going to just plug that in. Espinal is going to hit second probably here or something like that. I mean, like, or lead off, like they're going to, because they're not going to lead off Friedel with a lefty on the mound.
No.
So they may lead off Espinal here. So, second base, third base eligibility.
No, they'll lead McLean. They'll lead McLean off.
McLean, and then Espinal hit second. That's what they'll do.
Espinal hit second. Yeah.
Either way, McLean was $6,000. I didn't even mention him, but
he was very expensive.
You obviously can play McLean if you want. He's hitting like 170 though. He's been horrific since coming back. Excuse me. Josh Smith, always a guy you can play. Verlander's kind of toast. So, and Smith has been nails. Let's see. Williamson, you and I were forced into a Williamson play today, which actually worked out because Crochet was bad. I didn't cash because Reagan's got hurt, but that's that. But Williamson was actually a good forced pivot there. Brooks Lee's 26.
Durbin 29 and Durbin 29.
Durbin 29, yep.
Miguel Vargas homered. He hasn't been great. He's been better lately, and I would give most things a look in Sutter Health Field. I would give most things a look in Sacramento.
Okay. Shortstop.
Honestly, John, like the more I think about it, I'm not saying I'm going to do this, but just like thinking through the process, the White Sox are a team that's very bad, and I'm aware of what I'm about to say.
Okay.
They make it very easy to get Coors if you wanted to run a 5-man Coors and then like just plug and play 3 White Sox
against Severino,
because the White Sox are in the basically Coors field, right? Like, I mean, they're in a Coors light environment. So, without the pricing attached. So just throwing.
Listen, I would be interested in like a Benintendi, mini stack or something. So,
okay.
Ellie is on the wrong side of his split. That just may not matter once Freeland's out of this game anyways, though.
Yep.
And it's Coors Field. And Ellie did homer from the right side the other day. So if you want to spend up $6,400 on Ellie De La Cruz, I don't think anybody would really blink there. But I don't think
my guess is he's the highest spend up by like almost double-digit percentage points.
Yeah. Yeah, I can see that. Mookie versus Skeens, no one's going to play. You could play Bobby, but we're probably playing some Wisniewski there. Do you think Arizona gets ownership versus Sale? Like, do you think people see Sale and fade it, even though he hasn't been very good?
I think people fade it. Yeah.
Okay. So you have Perdomo at $4,800.
I'm pretty sure I'm pretty sure the Chris Sale peripherals. Hopefully my
better.
computer doesn't.
I would
up.
imagine they're better than what his numbers are. But he's got
so Chris Sale this year, John.
Yeah.
So, sorry for if there's a little delay here. My computer is blowing up as we speak. Chris Sale, obviously 6+ ERA, 6.17, 2.97 Sierra, 3.29 xFIP.
Yeah.
3.98 expected ERA, still a 12K per 9, which is better than last year.
Sure. I mean,
So
he hasn't
just kind of running.
He hasn't been able to pitch a lot of innings because he's been getting hit a lot. Homers in 4 straight games, so the xFIP's obviously going to be a little bit better because they just normalize the what's his FIP?
I closed it, and I'm not reopening. But it was a
wouldn't dare to ask you.
It was a sub 3 xFIP. So sub 3 xFIP.
His
sub 3 Sierra
FIP. So again, that's the xFIP normalizes the home run to fly ball rate. The FIP is just sort of the overall fielder independent numbers there. So he is giving up 14% home run to fly ball rate right now. The 3 walks in each of the last 2 games, like that's very uncharacteristic of Chris Sale. But I mean, Minnesota, Tampa Bay, Philly, at the Dodgers, at the Padres, like not like the easiest of run either, but Arizona's no walk in the park. So
no, they're not. They're super good.
So I don't know. I'm and I'll be interested to see what the Arizona ownership is. I will say, the Arizona bats from the left side, like Carroll, Naylor, Pavin Smith, like those are the guys you want. They're all lefties. So all right, work our way down this list here. Polanco will get the bat from the left side against Quantrill at 4K. Will probably get pinch hit for at some point in that game when they put a lefty in the game.
Both are factual statements. He will be pinch hit for, but he will at least get the hit from the left side. He's also been super awesome.
Yeah.
Everything says he's been awesome, but it's just tough to. You just know he's getting pinch hit for. It sucks.
Jacob Wilson still forever this mid 3K range. Would still play him if you needed just like a nice cash game shortstop. In a lineup that's going to put some runs in that offense. So
he hit second. I know there's no Rooker in the Thursday lineup, but he hit second on Thursday.
I mean, they should hit him there. I've said that. I've been on record.
No. Plenty of times, even on.
And I still believe that.
Funny.
All right. Anything else for you at short?
All right. No.
Outfield. 12 game slate. So bear with us here, folks. There's gonna be 100 outfielders. The usual analysis here is find your stack and build around it. These guys are kind of in tough spots. Aaron Judge against Berrios. Berrios is obviously a big ground ball guy, though. But Ohtani versus Skeens, Carroll versus Sale. Baz is obviously pretty good. Yamamoto versus O'Neal Cruz probably won't go there. Is Rooker your first semi-comfortable plug given them pitching matchup?
I'm comfortable playing Aaron Judge.
Yeah,
let's be real.
Well. I mean, I guess I shouldn't have discounted Judge. I did mention Judge. I just kind of threw in that Berrios is a sicker ball. So.
No, I know, but
it wasn't to say not to play him.
He's had 2 historical seasons and started the third hitting 4.
Did I make it seem like I said not to play him? I guess is my question.
No, well, no. I'm just saying, I would, if they were pitching from 7 feet away, I would be okay with him. I'm not like that scared of Jose Barrios being a sinker ball pitcher. I think like just, but no, you did not.
Okay,
Just straight up.
I was just wanted to make sure that I wasn't portraying. I said not to play Aaron Judge because you definitely
No.
definitely can play some Aaron Judge there. All right, where else in this top group are you looking to plug in though?
I mean, I like Pablo, but there's obvious home run risk because he is a heavy fly ball pitcher. So Trout, just with all the power. Also, Mike Trout expected batting average and all their expected numbers are way lower than, or way higher than his actual average. Like hitting 167, it's 100 points lower than his expected average. So I like Trout. I like Rooker. Chorio, obviously, if we're not playing Liberatore. Oh, I didn't even notice they gave Soderstrom the outfield eligibility already.
Yeah. He plays it now. So.
Which now he plays it now, but like that is much faster than some of the eligibilities that we get or don't have removed. So I like that. Obviously, Lawrence Butler, 52.
I mean, Lee been on keeps being lately. Really good.
Dude, he is so good. He's so good.
But you have your Cincinnati guys here, right? Austin Hayes is $5,000. It feels like maybe expensive, but now if you go to the Austin Hayes StatCast page, he doesn't qualify, so he doesn't have like the bright, hard, red lines. He has the non-qualified red lines, but it's all red and to the right. Okay. Like everything Austin Hayes is hitting is hard. Bat speed's great. Exit velocity is great. You don't typically pay this kind of money for Austin Hayes, but you might here versus a lefty in course.
Yeah, I mean, if we know anything about Austin Hayes, his whole career has been built off hitting lefties. So, like that's what he is. Every stop he has made, he has been hitting lefties. So, I definitely am uncomfortable with the price. I think you can be uncomfortable with the price and also acknowledge it's a good play.
Definitely. And anyways, we talked about like there's like enough value to be able to afford that, on this slate where you can make it happen. Jordan down at 5K again, a guy when he's like going right is obviously a more expensive play. Lefties versus Lugo this year. They only have a 217 average, but they have a 460 slug, and he's allowing 2.2 homers per 9 to the lefties. Now, again, small sample size, give all that into consideration, but he's allowed 5 homers already to left-handed hitters. So,
that Yankees game was death. That Yankees game was a death sentence.
That's fair. That's fair. But there is Jordan there, always a guy that you can play. Jaron Duran at that game plays, starting to heat up a little bit. See, Williers fine. Buxton, obviously a big home run threat with the exit velo. What are your sort of thoughts in this range?
Brenton Doyle, 46, has been Brenton Doyle at home because that's what Brenton Doyle does. In course, he just rakes, and this year's been no different. White Langford has been absolutely unbelievable lately. I know some of it's ballpark aided.
Has another hit tonight.
Not all of it.
Like he's
not all of it. He is just going to keep hitting at the top of the order, hitting all power. And you said it, Verlander's a little dusty, and by a little, I mean he's 44 years old, so he's a lot of dusty. Like the beard, when he shakes, like it's dust coming out of his beard. No offense to the 44-year-olds out there, but not many 44-year-olds are playing.
I know. So Wyatt's great. I like Newbar. Yaz on the other side of that spot there, $4,400. Again, like I think you could play these lefties. If Friedo's in the lineup or Gavin Lux, I think you'd still play them because Freeland's not going to be in that game forever. So certainly some potential there. Same thing with Fraley. Again, so I don't know what that outfield. I guess I can just look at MLB lineups and see what their last
against lefties.
What their last sort of lineup looked like against a lefty here. Let's see.
It's not Reese Hines, I'll tell you that. Blake Dunn, I assume, probably plays.
Let's see. When do they face the lefty
Everyone's
last? It's been a bit, I guess. Let's see. Have they not faced a lefty anytime soon here? Really?
it's just this year.
I'm like
they just haven't
scrolling
faced
by
one the
weeks
whole
here,
year.
and we're just like not getting like any lefty matchups. And apparently, all right. I don't know. I assumed it would have showed it's they would have faced a lefty at some point here soon. Maybe the page is just glitching and like not showing me the accurate stuff. So, all right. Well, we'll see the official lineup when we go live. Anyways, we'll have that for everybody. Value in the outfield. Anything for you here?
I would tell you, but I clicked the Okay, there we go. I clicked the Cincinnati Reds. I'm telling you right now, my computer is on its last legs here. I clicked the Cincinnati Reds and I couldn't click out of it. Everything froze. Okay, I got one for you. Ready? Tell me what you think. Jordan Beck.
Yeah, they send.
Did you see the Jordan Beck day?
Yeah, they sent down Veen. So Beck works. 3,400 in course.
Hit 3 home runs today. He hit 3 home runs today.
I'm good with it. $3,400, good value. Rayleigh's there. They let off Bouchard the other day. I don't know if they do that again, but
are we talking ourselves into the Rockies?
I'm not. Okay. But I mean, I get the Beck comeback in a stack when you're spending 64 for Ellie, 5K for Hayes.
Hey, just saying.
Let's see. Larnick is 3K. Can always go to Minnesota or Minnesota fans here.
Yep.
I don't think there's anything else though that I would play. Anything else that you would play? Cam Smith, 2,500. Still
obligatory shout. Sawinski got sent down. Veen got sent down. Oscar, tough spot. Sanoja, no. Drew Waters would be it. Palacios is definitely going to lead off in Coors Light. I'd be okay with it. Justin Verlander. Will Justin Verlander succumb to the Jock Peterson 2-hit season? Find out on this episode of Will Jock Peterson get a hit?
He got a hit last night. He doubled.
Salute to Jock. He deserves it. 2 hits on the year.
All right.
Nothing else.
Let's figure out how let's save pitching.
Save pitching.
Well, I like Yamamoto and
Wesneski.
Yeah. All right, $3,900.
No more. Right,
so we go Keyshaw. All right.
Yep.
We'll play Beck because 3,400 just makes sense actually. All right, so now we have 4K at play. How do we make this work?
What do you want? You want to get to Reds?
I feel like we want to get to some Reds here, right? I mean, if we did,
yeah.
I mean, this is already like very limiting, right? We need a punt catcher, which would be the Marlins dude down here.
25.
Yeah,
Augusto Ramirez.
All right. So $3,800 for first baseman, outfield. We have Ellie, Marte, and Beck in our like Coors exposure.
Kurtz. I mean, it's not Coors.
Like I was thinking
like
going Steer because he's only 4K.
Okay, I like it. I like Steer, and he's been historically good.
And now we have 3,800 for 2 outfielders. I mean, Larnick is just there. Goes with the Keyshaw play, a 3-4. And then a $4,600 outfielder.
Langford. Is that
Langford, Brent Doyle?
Or Brent Doyle. No, you play Doyle. You play Doyle because they're gonna hit Beck. I assume they move Beck up. I mean, he hit 3 home runs in a day, like across 2. They're gonna move him up in the order.
There it is. We made it work. Yamamoto, Wisniewski, Ramirez, Steer, Keyshaw, Marte, Ellie, Beck, Larnick, and Doyle. We managed to get ourselves a Coors Field stack, a mini Twins stack, because of course, Twins always
Wouldn't be us
without getting some
without it.
Minnesota Twins in our lineup. We're spending up for Yamamoto, and we're getting the Hayden Wesneski start against Kansas City. I wasn't sure the plan was going to come together, but I love when the plan comes together.
Yes.
Hopefully everything cooperates with us when it comes to this, and we can plug and play. We'll be back live, though, at 5 o'clock to do it all over again, give you the latest lineup news, updates, weather, and all the good stuff there. We'll have the playbook out, which I am writing, so even maybe a sneak peek of what you may see in that playbook as well. You can check that out for free if you sign up. FantasyAlarm.com/win. Promo code Let's Go. That first month there is less than $20. James and I will be back later on at 5 o'clock. We'll see you then.